in the Manila Bay and other bays that experience red tides, it is the marginalized that is affected in health and in economy.
Yung engineering is the ability to absorb, thrive, and then recover. The faster you're able to recover, the more resilient.
Sa Pilipino, ito ay katibayan at katatagan sa mahirap na sitwasyon at ang kakayahang bumangon muli.
Yung ecological naman, the ability to adapt. Yung evolutionary resilience, Vale, to really innovate and be creative.
Resilience is really being able to spring back from adversity, but it should have learning. And therefore, it strengthens you to be more resilient than before the adversity came to you.
Before COVID-19, the Philippines was already on to SMT-based measures to improve its resilience capacity. With COVID, the country was awakened to the need for resilience of our economic, health, and educational status as well.
The country as a whole is, I think, not so resilient because while we have the capabilities, the opportunities, and the resources to cope with COVID-19, the whole body is suffering because the leadership and management is not working so well. When it comes to individual resilience, those who have more resources, capabilities, and opportunities will be more resilient than those who are not.
A lot of the problems really may be interconnected, Vale. You have to look at it from a holistic point of view. It encompasses more than natural sciences or physical problem, Vale, but also it gets into the ecological, biological, as well as social pa nga.
Among issues and problems we have are poverty, ecosystem destruction, climate change, and bravery.
Much of our attention is placed only after the disasters happen. What we should do really is to take early action years before the hazards strike, and we should put our attention and our resources into that type of planning.
We need SMT-based transdisciplinary and inclusive approach to coping with possible hazards.
The fragmentation of society needs to be resolved for resilience.
Communication is very, very important. And we should communicate to the people using not just scientific communication means, but through arts, music, understand the mindset of the Filipino people so we can communicate better.
Well, the way to move forward is interoperability.
So we have to do a lot of work as a person, as a community, and as an institution to really have resilience as one of the values of the Filipinos. Yung tunay na resilience na towards improvement.
Building resilience requires sustainability science inspired by transdisciplinary approach.
To be sustainable, you have to be resilient. To be resilient, you have to be sustainable.
Go natural, go with nature's flow. Non-structural or natural interventions, as well as good planning, is the most sustainable.
Finally, we need to harness and strengthen the Filipino spirit of bayanihan.
hello, magandang hapon, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Para sa ating mga kapatid dyan sa Luzon, mayap agat panapon na imbaga ang malem, masantos yang ngarem, marhay na hapon. Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. And sa ating mga kababayan dyan sa Visayas, maayong hapon, maupay nga kulop, maayong ugto, at sa Mindanao, assalamualaikum, malingkat, mahapon, mapiyak tuwa, longan, and buenas tardes.
Para sa ating mga panuihing banyaga, good afternoon, annyeonghaseyo, konnichiwa, salamat siyang wuhaw. Welcome po sa ating mga regular na tagapakinig at tagapanood sa Zoom at sa Facebook Live. Hello po sa inyong lahat.
Hello Paul, magandang hapon uli at sa ating lahat dyan. Ako, I hope you're all in a good mood kasi ngayon talaga namang maganda na naman ating topic. And welcome sa ating ika-43rd episode. We come to think of it, anniversary na month natin ngayong September. Kasi September tayo nag-start, di ba Ma'am Luli? So anyway, welcome sa ika-43rd na episode ng the Filipino Sustainable Development Goal. Iyan po ang ating SDG Action Hour, ang lingguhang kamustahan at kwentuhan para sa maganda, maayos, mabuti at makabuluhang kinabukasan. Alam mo, isang oras to ng hitik na talakayan ng mga usapin talagang napapanahon. At ngayon, alam mo ba, Paul, very excited na naman ako kasi fresh at very young ang ating panauhin sa hapong ito. Ang ating makakakwentuhan ay talaga namang napakabata pa at ako, take note ha, nakita ko ang kanyang picture. So, pretty, no? At a very early age, talaga namang she has committed herself to development work.
Tama po, Miss Dada. At nakakabilib nga po totoo dahil ang ating guest sa hapon ito ay talagang itinalaga ang kanyang artistry sa mga vulnerable and marginalized na sektor ng ating mga kababayan. Siya ay isang visual artist at the same time ay isang social entrepreneur who has dedicated her life working with various communities and sectors, especially the persons with disabilities, farmers, and especially the indigenous peoples. Ang kanyang travel immersion at exposure sa social development ang nagpalalim na kanyang passion with cultural heritage and anthropology.
Yan, tama yan. Ako sa Tagalog, ang hirap sabihin, no? Antropolohiya. Yan. At alam mo ba po, ang kanyang mga artworks ay umiikot sa tema ng indigenous, ha? Hindi indigenous. Indigenous, ibig sabihin, indigenous ingenuity. Yan yun. Sa wikang Pilipino, ito yung tinatawag na katutubong katalinuhan, no? At yun din pong modern anthropology, a modern take on indigenous culture and history. Ang kanyang mga ipinipinta o yung mga paintings niya at yung sculptures, no? Kasi sculpture din, ano ba tawag sa kanya? Sculptor, yan, yun. Yung kanyang mga eskultura ay may malalim na pagtingin sa nakaraan natin, no? Ng ating sa nakaraan ng nating bansa at dahil sa may pag-asang maanyayahan ng mga makakakita sa kanyang mga likha na magbalik tanaw na may kasamang pasasalamat sa ating mga katutubong pamana at madala ito sa ating future na may malalim na pagpahalaga sa love and nature o pag-ibig at kalikasan, sining and kultura.
Also, our guest po ay committed to resolving the paradox of poverty amidst a rich cultural heritage. She founded the Gotthard Foundation noong 2007 as a platform for the creation of sustainable livelihood models, allowing communities na magkaroon ng wealth while promoting their culture.
Ayan, at alam mo ba, Paul, napakalalim ng commitment ng ating panauhin sa pagtulong sa ating mga underprivileged o yung mga marginalized na mga kapatid, no? Kung kaya't she has been conducting therapy sessions for children affected by disasters. Nung 13 years old pa lang siya noon, batang-bata pa siya noon. Ito yung tinatawag na parang psychosocial debriefing through arts. Yan.
And professionally nga po, she has been conducting art exhibits, hindi lang sa Manila, kundi maging international, sa London, sa Wales, Vienna, Fukuoka, Singapore, and even Tokyo.
Nako, yes. Huwag na natin itong patagalin kasi yung excitement is killing me na. Very young but full of heart and passion in serving the underserved and the marginalized. She founded the Gotthard Gallery to promote her advocacies and support various artists and artisans. So, SDG, Teto na. Let us welcome very pretty and young, talented with a heart. Please welcome our special guest for this afternoon, Miss Melissa Yong Yap. Good afternoon, Miss Melissa.
Oh, good afternoon. Thank you sa
Hi.
introduction. Parang hindi sobrang gandang introduction. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead, Miss Melissa. Oh, by the way, sabi ni Miss Melissa, yung kanyang parang presentation, it's just really a kwento. Whoever wants to ask question, i-direct nyo na sa Q&A and we can actually butt in and ask the question. That's right, Ma'am Melissa, right? Okay. Sige.
Please go ahead. Make it very
Okay.
casual and conversational. So, ayan po. I just came from Pinto Museum with Doc Kwanang. So, actually, parang itong second part ng day ko, we'll still talk about a lot of community work and sustainability work. So, thank you so much for inviting me, Doc Luli. So, Doc Luli is one of my mentors, kasama ni Father Ben Nebres.
Hi, Melissa. So, I think it will be interesting if you just tell us how you got started on the Got Heart Foundation. You were still very young when you did that.
Oo. Tama. Siguro you start when you were 13 years old, ano? What made you? Parang, it's a psychosocial debriefing, right?
Yeah. So, sobrang laking impact ni Doc Luli sa buhay ko. She brought me to the ITAS in Bataan. So, I'll give a short, so I'm coming down from Antipolo. Sensya na nasa car ako ngayon. So when we started before, yung sabi pag bata pa, I wasn't sure how to work on development. It's more on like working on simple projects, like mga charity shows, ganyan. But as I grew up, I got to learn more about the strength of the communities that we work with. So, like, si Ma'am Luli works a lot with the ITAS, and that's where I discovered a lot of their knowledge on ethnobotany. So, as an artist, I'm always looking for visual art. Pero sa mga AITA, it's more on how they deal with the environment, which is very admirable. Sabi nila yun yung kanilang pharmacy, yun yung kanilang playground, yun yung kanilang bahay, ang kanilang gym. Ang kanilang spa ay lahat nasa bundok. So we need to take care of the environment. That's how I fell in love with non-timber forest products. Yun. And then, when you work with sustainability with the communities, that one big thing that I really learned through the process is that it's so hard to teach sustainability to communities if they have nothing to eat. Kasi, example, they cut mga trees to earn money or they turn it into mga charcoal, ganyan, to earn money. It won't make sense to just make them stop doing those things kasi kasi papakain sa family. So that's when we thought about alternative non-timber kinds of products to create sustainability. And that's what I'm talking about now kasi finally, after so many years of doing research, I think I'm in a very happy place na aside from art, I'm also managing are you familiar with Katingko ointment? So I'm managing the company that produces that product. So yung ginagawa namin ngayon, so I was talking to the ITAS and tinanong ko, ano ba yung meron kayong product dyan? Sobrang dami nilang luya. Hindi nila alam gagawin nila. Sobrang daming luya. Like, toneladang luya. So in the beginning, when we were working with farmers, gumawa kami ng isang restaurant called Earth Kitchen na direct, parang farm to table. It's one of the first farm to table restaurant concepts in the Philippines. But then when you work with different communities, they have a lot of one things. Hindi man pwede sa restaurant puro luya yung iserve. So I looked at the other company I'm working with, which is Greenstone, the makers of Katingko. And now we're creating we have a Katingko ginger line where we extract the essential oils from the ginger. So the either we get it from the mountains or they deliver it to the factory in Tarlac. So we built a factory during the pandemic in Tarlac where it's closer to the ITAS and the farmers. So, and then yung mga farmers in between planting and harvesting season, wala sila masyadong ginagawa. So sila yung nagsislice And then yung mga PWD nagtumatulong din sa extraction. So that's what we basically do now as an alternative source of livelihood. We look into how corporations can really integrate these types of products into the supply chain to be able to create a sustainable kind of um, parang livelihood partnership, something like that. So we work a lot with researchers, scientists, DOST, and we also have our team of scientists working on what's available in the community. So that's the gist of what we're doing. If there are questions, well, feel free to ask. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Everything's
yes,
okay.
yes. Oo. So you
Yeah.
were saying na so at the moment you are parang involving the ITAS through yung mga produce nila itong mga luya, no? Sila talaga yung nagtatanim nito and then hindi ko alam na meron na pala talagang luya flavor ang kating ko kasi favorite ko rin yung kating ko pag masakit ang ulo, 'di ba? Anyway, may luya flavor na ba yan? So, is that your only source of livelihood or if diyan lang sila nako-focus or meron ka pang way of parang diversifying their livelihood? Parang ganon.
So right now, we don't just work with the ITAS. That's just one of the examples on what we do with low-hanging fruit, like literally low-hanging fruits. Kasi what's happening here in the Philippines, not just with the ITAS, bawa may magtatanim ng kamatis. Tapos kikita siya for first season. Next season, lahat ng buong community, puro kamatis. So when it comes to the harvest season, piso na lang yung kamatis or tinatapon na lang yung kamatis, di ba? So then we see it in the news all the time. There's no planning that's happening to really optimize the products of the community. Diba, nakita sa news yung mga tonataladang kamatis tinapon. Ng last time, ano ba yung mga, ano yun? Last time, pumpkin, yung mga squash. Ang dami-dami, dinalagyan na. So what we do, we have an agreement, not just with an ITAS, we work with different ones now. Actually, I have nga samples na sa kotse ko ngayon kasi kakasend lang ng lab. Iba-ibang mga types of essential oils, so nagbe-blurry, that we get from the different communities, so we can turn them into pharmaceutical and cosmetic grade products. So we agree on a nice price na happy sila, happy rin kami. Hindi siya up and down. So we can also plan our production, costing sa production natin. So it's a nice mutual agreement that we have that's mutually beneficial. So we also work with may calamansi dito sa calamansi extracts, vetiver, eucalyptus, ginger.
I think there's a question sa Q&A, Paul. Is there a Q&A back?
Yes po. Hello po, Ms. Melissa. A question from Ms. Annabel Sorara of Radyo Aguila of Net25. Paano sila nakikipag-communicate sa mga ITAS? Or like, paano po ibinababa ang kanilang programa sa mga ITA?
We go there ourselves. So I did my thesis there when I was in college. So para nila akong anak-anakan. It's very easy. I just talk to them like friends. We're just like family, like friends, like a normal person. So we communicate with them like our typical supplier, but at the same time, syempre mas may malasakit and mas special yung sa kanila. But we also want to teach them how to deal with a corporation professionally. 'Di ba? Para din talagang sustainable. So if may gusto bumili sa kanila, hindi sila maglolokohan kasi minsan 'di ba may ganun din. So na nangyayari, unfortunately, it's not all roses and beautiful, but at the same time it can be professionalized. So we go there and then after tuloy-tuloy na lang. So there are two models. Sometimes pag may capacity yung community, yung meron kaming parang farmer cooperative that they have their own way of transporting. So iba rin yung presyo per kilo. Get it parang farm gate price. We bring vehicles doon and then hindi na sila nag-worry kasi what happened before, it really irked and inspired me at the same time. Nung kinwento ng mga item, ang dami-dami nilang luya. Pag ibebenta nila, iinsultuhin pa sila ng ibang mamimili na sabihin na, ang dumi nung gawa nyo kasi madumi yan kasi kayo yung nagtanim. Which is really brought out of ignorance from people. discrimination and marginalization. So I was thinking, if we can create a ready market for them, they don't have to go through that. Diba? So now, wala na, parang every time meron silang harvest, they just call us and then we buy everything that we can, that we need for our production.
So, Melissa, yung yung parang support na binibigay mo is really for them. Sila lang talaga yung magbibigay ng products, ano? Pero you don't give trainings na para sila mismo ay matuto how to, kumbaga, extract the oil from the luya or
Ginawa
ganito.
naman yan before, doon yung original plan. So we did different iterations of how it can be. So we brought it up to the mountain. But the thing is, the model that we're using needs ice. So pagdating ng ice doon, tunaw na. Tunaw na yung ice. So hindi siya ma-extract. Masyado kasi mainit sa Pilipinas. So what we did, we were supposed to put up a factory near there, but at the same time, logistically, masyadong magastos. So the most efficient way is for us to put up the factory near a lot of the communities, because we're not just serving one particular mountain. We're serving a lot around. So with the capacity that we have now, we can actually serve a lot more because our model became successful, and because Katingko's buying, it's really mass based. Parang we need tons and tons and tons of these, and not just one community can supply. So nilagay namin siya near the exit of SCTEX, T-Plex exit. So logistically, it's very efficient then. So the end product would also be abot kaya for the market of Katingo. Since hindi naman siya sobrang expensive, we have to also work on optimizing the supply chain. So they know how to do it, but mas gusto nila mag-focus doon sa nila. But if they want, they're very, actually we want more of the kids to learn more about chemistry. So dream ko in the future, hopefully they can manage the factories and be our scientists. So yeah, it's a combination of different things.
Sabi mo kids, mga ano ba to? So it's the kids or families ba yung families, okay.
So but hopefully they will also enable their children. Meron ng mga nagagraduate ng college pero hindi pa sila masyado familiar with chemistry. So we're introducing that. Mostly gusto nila maging yung typical either teacher or police, di ba?
So walang
yung mga gusto nila usually.
Walang into sciences, parang gano'n. You're saying walang into sciences.
Wala masyado, but now we do some experiments with them, so hopefully it sparks interest. Kasi like sa anak kong 7 years old, pag nag-experiment kami, tuwang-tuwa siya. So we also want the experiential. So we have a mobile lab. We did this prior to the pandemic, parang mobile lab where we go to the different mga sitio, and then we do experiments so they have an idea. Pero we stopped during the pandemic kasi walang COVID doon, baka madalahan namin. So, but now, more on that. So, nilagay namin yung we set up the lab. Kasi rin hindi rin namin, medyo mahal din masyado for us operationally to operate in so many communities. And yung quality control, we really need to be super, we test every extract. So the GCMS machines are in the lab kasi hindi rin siya pwedeng i-move, baka makontaminate. So we really want to do it very professionally. So it's very competitive.
Okay. So may nakataas kamay ni Mr. Cesar Gomez, but before that may question kasi kanina sa Q&A box na ano daw bang grupo ng ITAS yung siniservan mo or pinupuntahan mo? Kasi iba-ibang grupo yan, di ba? May dumagat o merong parang sambal Aita, yung mga ganun.
Yeah,
so yun
madami po.
Oo.
Right now, meron yung Aita Mag-Ansi sa Bamban, and then meron din yung Abelen sa San Jose. And then we also work with other farmer groups. So it's not, kung sino yung may available na produce, we are able to purchase as much as we can right now kasi umaakyat yung demand ng Katingko ginger. So we're very happy to create a ready market for them.
Okay,
For their
sige,
product.
Hindi ko pa na-try yan. Hanapin ko yung katinggo ginger na yan. Anyway, go ahead, Mr. Cesar Gomez, for your question.
Melissa, congratulations for a very innovative and entrepreneurial approach. 3 to 4 related items. One, I suspect you have a research or market research group in Katinko in the company. If we can expand it to have also a formal marketing research, okay? Farm gate of the Bamban farmers, AITAS, and other groups until siguro Metro Manila. So it's price collation and then supply chain. I think that will be very powerful. I can sit down with you or discuss with you further on. But I think if you can link market research with production, not just of the AITAS, but others, that will be very powerful. Okay. Number two, I'm just wondering, nag-iisa lang ba kayo in Katinko on these things, or are there other pharmacy groups or like-minded producers of facial or whatever? Because if you can have this, I suspect meron ng association na ganito, no? So if you can also encourage them to do like something like what you're doing, that's the second point. Third, you mentioned about helping the farmers become rich. Doc Luli is here. We had a certain Dr. Davide talk to us. I don't know if you know Dr. Davide, and he's been very forceful on teaching out-of-school youths to become profitable. So I think it's good to tie up with them. And then fourth point, perhaps you can also develop simple guidelines and procedures for citizen science. So the children in Bamban and other AITAS, other groups you're helping can also gradually become steeped in science. Of course, gradual build up yan. So for market research, then association of like-minded Katimco producers. Number 3 is Dr. Davide, if Dr. Luli can connect you to him, and then for citizen science. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Gomez. So for the research, we are currently actually conducting market research, but we got the third party one because so we are getting the results next month, so it's very exciting. So hopefully, my lifelong goal, at least just in my lifetime, is to work on at least 10 local materials in the Philippines that would something like ginger. So ginger, I think we're successful na. So we're working on the next 9 para tuloy-tuloy. So yeah, definitely we're doing that. So what we're doing is, as a company, we're looking at everything that we can do to open the opportunities for the AITAs and other marginalized groups, or mga farmers that are super masipag but they just don't know what to plant. So our goal is to create demand. So and do it in a social enterprise kind of model na sabi ko sa kanila, if you can sell it mas mahal, now sell it sa iba, but we won't buy it also at 1 peso, even if you give it to us at 1 peso, even if it's so profitable for us to get it, that we won't do it that way. We will buy it at the level na happy tayong dalawa. Hindi kayo lugi, hindi rin kami mahihirapan. Competitive pa rin siya kasi it's still a business at the end of the day. And then secondly, what's the second point again? Sorry, pangit po yung memory ko. The association.
Yeah.
Association. We're not part of any association as of the moment. We're just concentrated on what we do as a company. We're not a very big company. We're kind of like a boutique company. So I'm not sure about that, but it probably happens with others. But kasi in the pharma world, we're, I guess, medyo protective with mga experiments kasi, diba? But I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. But we do have a lot of linkages with UST. And kami yung usual na institutional partner nila if they do research and they need an institutional partner to possibly commercialize the product. We're very open with those things. So we don't really communicate so much with other pharmacies, but we do communicate with whoever. If they approach us, of course, we're open, but we're not really I'm part of entrepreneurs organizations and young presidents organization, more like not specifically on pharma lang po. And then the third, I'd be happy to be introduced. So I'm open to the introduction that you were referring to. So of course, very happy about that. What's the fourth point, what, sir? Sorry, forgot.
Citizen science, if you can
Oh,
develop
citizen
citizen
science.
science for
Yeah, I'd
the
be happy. Yeah, I'm very yeah, science is my favorite subject. It's also my son's favorite subject. Umiiyak siya pag namimiss niya yung pag walang science for the day. Mom, I'm so upset we don't have science. So I guess it stems from such a young age. Now if it's taught in a way that's like play, it's fun. Like I love chem. I'm really bad at math, but I love chemistry so much until this day because my chem teacher was like Mrs. Naipes. She's like a mother to me. I love her so much. She made chemistry so much fun. So I guess when it comes to that, we'll we'll find a way to make science accessible and fun and relatable to children. So definitely that's something. There's an ITA principal who has a PhD who specializes in science. So, sa Tarlac po yun. So, we're actually looking into putting up a laboratory there. So, it's like, yeah. So, we did an art program, but when I found out he majors in science, that's something that we're looking into. So, if you have modules, I'll be more than happy para we won't have to reinvent anything. Yeah.
No, I don't have modules, but I was really thinking if you can create modules for your ITA areas and your other groups, you know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll
Thank you.
look into it more into the laboratory experiment because the ITAs are very knowledgeable in ethnobotany because as an artist, I'd always look for visual art. Wala akong makita except for the mga pana, ganyan. Wala akong makita na visual art but nagkasakit ako dun sa bundok and they gave me mga sambong, mga ganyan, mga lagundi sa mga so different things, even for my allergies, they gave me lagundi ruti, parang ganun. So I'm like, ethnobotany is really their specialization. So that's where we wanna help them with what their strengths are. So yeah, so maybe more towards that. If we'll do citizen science for them, something that they are already strong with, that they can hopefully monetize, and something that they would do to help protect the forest. Yeah. So thank you po, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you too.
Sir Cesar. Marami pong salamat. CM Gonzalo Serapica, wait lang po. Babasahin ko lang po yung mga naunang questions sa Q&A. Ito, na-answer naman yung isang unang question ni Mr. Ike Teneres. Pero ito, another question. Miss Melissa, can you do that for IPs in Visayas and Mindanao?
Of course, definitely, that's the goal. Because right now, kaya essential oil talaga yung finocus kasi alam ko na kailangan marami to produce the oil. So, ngayon, kulang na yung supply. So, we need more. So, hopefully, hindi siya masyadong mahal when it lands in Manila. But I think we can create something. If there's a lot of supply, maybe we can even put a satellite laboratory there or something. So, yeah, can just message the Katingko Facebook page and we'll be happy. Actually, nagpapahanap na talaga ako sa team ko ng mga iba pang mga farmers. And kahit hindi luya, kung may iba pang mga produce na yung madami na yung imbes na itapon nila, bibili namin. Kasi if you turn it into
Citronella.
product.
Oo.
Those are very
Citronella.
easy. Citronella, lemongrass, vetiver, yung mga grass kasi madali sa Central Luzon. That's where I'm at. Ang init eh. So yung mga talahib-talahib looking ones, mabilis mag-grow. And then I was with mga taga-Agusan, so medyo upland. So we're looking into what we can do there also. And then ilang-ilang, tinatanim na namin, hanap tumubo na silang lahat. Kasi masaya mag-extract ng mga florals din.
Bago mo basahin yung ibang question, Paul, babasahin ko lang to kasi natutuwa ako sa tanong eh. Miss Melissa, ano po bang gamit ni Madam Melissa na network? Bakit di siya nalalag during the live and traveling ka pa?
Oh, Globe lang po. Naka 5G ngayon.
Okay. Sige.
Buti nga hindi, kinabahan ako kasi nag-enjoy kami masyado ni Doc Juanang kasi he also is into these kinds of things. So, napahaba yung kwentuhan namin. So, yeah. Pero I'm here, so I'm so happy. Thank you, Globe. Hindi mo ako pinahiya today. Minsan pinapahiya mo ako, but not today.
Ibig sabihin, yung ruta mo, Globe talaga yan. Anyway, Paul, can you please read the other questions before we go to
Yes po.
TF Gonzalo? Yes.
From Mr. Simeon Miklay po, Ma'am Melissa, may specific criteria or specification po ba ng species ng luya na ginagamit ninyo?
For now, whatever's available. Kasi that's the goal na hindi masyadong, like, at least in the meantime, kung ano yung low-hanging fruit, that was the goal of the company, na hindi yung mag introduce pa ng bago. Yun yung nandyan na, wala lang silang market. So, just the typical native luya. So, yeah.
Yes. Actually, nawala na dito isang question, Paul. May question dito kanina na, Miss Melissa, kayo ba may-ari daw nung pating ko o employee ka lang daw ba?
Secret.
Okay. Pag secret, alam na. Alam na yung sagot, no? Pag secret.
My dad started, and then my mom, Filipina yung mom ko.
Okay.
So,
Ayan, malapit ka nang ipahiya ng globe, ha?
dito na siya.
Naglalag ka
So,
na.
second generation. Naglalag na, nabati.
Oo.
Nabati tayo. Yeah, I've been managing it for 15 years.
Okay. So, ayan.
Since I was 23 years old.
That answers the question. May anonymous ano pa, bago tayo pupunta kay CM Serapica. Paul, may anonymous question pa?
I think, ma'am, directed to For Future Earth.
From Future Earth yan eh. Sige. Mamaya na natin sagutin yan.
Yes po.
Sabi ni Miss Annabel Surara, i-try din daw niya yung ginger. Pero actually, ako hindi ko alam na may ginger na ha. Anyway, so go ahead, CM Gonzalo Serapica. Go po.
Okay, thank you, Dada. I mean, congratulations, Melissa, for the work that you're doing, especially for the ITAS. Definitely, I remember one of our scientists in UP Manila has been helping them also on a NSA type botanicals for pain relief. And Chaang Gubat is another product that is being marketed through our efforts in the Tech Transfer Office of UP. And clearly, I like the second-gen aspect of the marketing of the botanicals and the essential oils. I remember talking to Doc Luli probably a few years ago now, Doc Luli, about the supercritical drying extraction of essential oils, which I had a big supercritical equipment in the US 15 years ago before I came back. And we're still figuring out who can use it, definitely for extraction. And I'm exactly, now that I see your hands raised, you're one of the counts, definitely, because that's essentially one of the equipment. I mean, I'm in medical device development, and for sterilization, we need gamma sterilization. But it so happened that one of our processes for super absorbent is supercritical drying. And I know that it's a perfect extraction for botanicals as well as essential oils. And I'm still tracking down my equipment that I sold for pennies, and it was easily a multi-million peso. It was a 750-liter extraction SC.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I could extract essentially.
Mahal nun.
I sold it for $30,000 nung tapos na kami, but it probably cost us $700,000 to assemble. And so I'm still tracking down where it is right now. But I've been telling Doc Luli in the National Academy that it is one of the key equipments that we need. It can be a shared facility, and definitely I'm looking for a location for it. UP Manila, with Chancellor Menchit Padilla, is definitely very gung-ho in the area in Bamban and Tarlac. They're putting out a tech corporation area for biotechnology, and because of the Viral Institute being also be there, I'm looking to help her locate more companies, essentially. Since you're already operating in the area, you might want to consider putting up a satellite lab. Once it's operational, it will be a biotech facility, and you're in the botanical area, can be advanced in the more bioactives, I would say, from plants. So just put it in your to-do list, probably in the next five years. And the other part is, of course, because you already have an existing marketing capability. I'm a balik scientist with the UST, and I've been advising several of the startups all over the country in terms of their product line. And there are some common veins, starting from products coming out of Bukidnon, Central Mindanao University, in terms of being able to have antifungal properties. I can definitely connect you with that group. It's partly a corresponding member of the National Academy, and Villalobos, who's been asking me to look for partners who can market similar products. Again, it's along your product lines of Katingo. I've used Katingo, by the way, so it's good. My wife got it together with Ilog Maria, who is one of my sister-in-law. Is very fond of botanicals. And of course, the other one that's coming down the pipeline is out of Iloilo, Cadios, which is developed in USA, University of San Agustin, with two of our Balik scientists, Doralyn Dalisay and Jonel, and together with a drug company in Iloilo, Maridan. They're able to produce ointments already in that regard. I don't know what your ideas of private labeling or toll manufacturing is. You can obviously take on the product. It's a local product. It's produced from a vegetable in Iloilo that's eaten, Adios. And I think I just saw it in the menu yesterday. I was in UP, in Provinciano, and they all offer Adios.
KBL.
Oh, KBL. So again, I'm very excited that you are looking for your top 10 botanicals, and I'm going to help you find it. That's what I do. And definitely Doc Luli has been very a good example of being able to connect the especially the Toklas Lunas effort of the UST with the entrepreneurs as well. And this is a clear example, because that's what I've been advocating in the National Academy, is not only involve academe, government, and industry, but also the entrepreneurs and also people who are willing to help with some risk capital, and you're one of them. So Melissa, I commend you. You're a very good example of what our youth and younger. And again, if you're so inclined, if you're under, try to remember, if you're still under 30, because there is a awards for under 30, and of course there's also under 40. I also run a foundation called Center for Integrated STEM Education, and we do a lot of teacher training as well as K-2 STEM exposures. We have backpacks and modules actually for teaching anywhere from K-12, starting with flower experiments for K to grade 2, all the way out to having, of course, out-of-school youth with Father Tito in Alay Kapwa. But since you're more inclined to use modules, STEM modules, and I'm opening up my portfolio of products that are developed by STEM teachers. One of them is a Metro Bank awardee. Her name is Sabrina Ongkiko. I don't know, Sabs Ongkiko.
Yeah, she's
you know, Sabs, she's very, very gregarious and very active, and is also an advisee of Father Ben. Clearly, you probably have come across. She's also a TOIM awardee last year. She's my chief marketing officer, because she's the key why Center for Integrated STEM Education is there, is to cater to teachers, promote what she's doing in terms of STEM education. So clearly, come and visit us. I will provide my contact number. Again, we can connect with Viber as a starter, or you can look me up in LinkedIn. But definitely, I like what you do. I want to help you get to where you want to be. And hopefully, you can use some of what we're doing already, not only in the National Academy, in DOST, but also in our STEM effort in promoting STEM education in the younger kids. Because as I found out, I was in a STEM conference in Orlando last month. Grade 4 is when they start to lose interest in science. And if we have to catch them, we always thought it's high school. No, it's grade school. You need to keep their level of interest, because after grade 4, games, social media, and everything else start to compete for their attention, and their love for science starts to diminish. So we need to keep the fire alive. I'm a batch 83 in Philippine science. So definitely we wanted to promote science as much as we can, and definitely having technopreneurship as one of the other activities for scientists, which I am. I had my own biotech company in the US 30 years ago, and I came back as a balik scientist after I sold my business 10 years ago. So that's all I do now. Help people who love science and use science so that there can be more science and more scientists and engineers. So I'm glad that you said you love chemistry. I'm a chemical engineering doctorate in Rensselaer in New York. And again, if you're wanting to upgrade your process later down the road, we'll try to help you out as well. Thank you. And I hope definitely you're showing up here in a NAST sanctioned activity has yielded some benefits, hopefully. And Dada, salamat. And the question is, of course, what do you want to pursue in the near term in terms of your advocacy, knowing that there are activities like this around you that you can possibly not reinvent the wheel, but piggyback on, as well as adopt the best practices that's been known, if only you're allowed to, given your interest in the arts. And the last question that I wanted to put in is definitely arts is another pathway to bring in STEM, the same way we're bringing in STEM using space technology with PhilSA. And I'm equally curious about how you wanted to educate our kids, hopefully through subs later down the road, on some of your ideas on how to, based on your experience, of course, being in the Tarlac, Bamban, Subic area for what their needs are. Because at the end of the day, I'm always towards the user needs or the customer. In this case, our indigenous people is the customer. What do they need? And I'd love to hear what you have discovered all these years that you're interacting with them, so that at least we can find those products that can help you provide it to them in the process. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for everything that you're doing. Congratulations also, and it's really nice to know about what you're doing. So of course, for the near term, I'm very interested to get connected and learn about it. In terms of what we want to do, we really want to create this model to show that through science we are able to help sustain different communities. So masipag yung mga farmers natin, but sometimes they don't have the right access on what kind of product they need to plant, diba? Kasi masyado the supply and demand model. Yun, so there's so much supply of one thing, and then the prices go down, which is not beneficial for them. So as a company, our main goal is, we're not concentrated on education, to be honest, although it's something that we are willing to contribute towards. What we want to do is really to focus on doing R&D to create opportunities for our indigenous communities and our farmers. So hindi sila mawala ng pag-asa with their lives, and they'll be able to really be sustainable at financially, and hopefully we're working on specific crops that really na mga non-timber, diba? So they'll be able to protect the forest and at the same time live better lives. So yun, what's their alternative? Maggawa ng charcoal, diba? So that's what I learned, na it's so hard to teach people to protect the environment if they're hungry. So we have to fill their stomachs first, at least to live in basic needs, diba? And then, so that's where we come in, na to help them profit from readily available resources that doesn't destroy the forest. So pinapabantayan ko nga ngayon kasi our demand's growing. So sabi ko sa DENR and sa DA, nakausap ko na make sure nyo na yung bibili lang natin na luya, and ma-educate din yung mga Aita na bawal magputol ng puno, kasi if we over naman ng demand, baka magputol na ng puno. So now we're also deliberately developing mga leaf extracts, kaya they have to plant the trees. Yun. So, yung leaf lang yung kukunin natin, ganyan. So, that type of education is what we're geared more towards. For them to be sustainable suppliers for our company. And then for the kids, yun, buti umabot yung anak ko 7 years old. Wala pa siyang fourth grade. So, na-cut siya. And then, with regards to myself, below 40, lumagpas na ako sa kalendaryo. So, yeah. Thank you for that. I'm very, very much interested to learn more about how we can work together and how we can create an impact as a company and as an artist also what I can do on a personal level. So thank you.
Ganda yun. Ito yung kwento din kanina ni CM, na about yung center niyo, sir, no, that you teach, STEM, para maengganyo yung mga bata na to go into STEM for younger children yan, no? Siguro, Melissa, baka pwede nating sabihin kay CM na baka yung mga nag-aaral mo na younger ITAS na pwedeng, no? Baka pwedeng makilala yan ni CM.
Yeah, actually, yung STEM lab mo, Melissa, I'm asking, actually, one of my major funders is Unilab Foundation. And a STEM bus or a STEM tricycle to be able to reach far-flung areas to expose them to science. It can be anywhere. We did a project in Sorsogon for IoT, Internet of Things, and Arduino for their junior high school. But then I'm realizing that's too late already. I mean, of course, they ended up being interested with Industry 4.0 technologies. But again, it has to match the interest and the age group that you're exposed to. So it's a very directed. Come and visit us in UP. We are in the National Institute of Science and Math Education building. My office is right beside NISMED Director Cheryl Monterola. She was formerly the director. I was the chairman of the board. And when she became director, I took over the education, the center for the directorship just to keep it stable for creating more connections as well as sustainable. So we have ILO UNICEF projects for social-emotional learning. And we're also doing advanced manufacturing training for workers with a USAID project. And TESDA, learner-centric technical vocational training also for our workers. So I always work with inventors and scientists, as Doc Lily knows, for the first 9 years. But this opportunity came in 3 years ago. And Father Ben actually did ask me to start focusing naman below the engineers and the undergraduates and look at K-12 on how we can promote STEM in that area. And so now I'm helping out of school youth to get them interested in STEM. But the percent is less than 10%, guys. So realistically, if we have a population, if we can get 5%, 1 out of 20 interested in science, you're lucky. But nurture that interest if you can and sustain it. And so 1 scientist out of 20 is not bad in my book. 1 out of 10 is better. But at least let's keep our expectations, because only 1 out of 10 typically have a. But of course, we still need to get to that point. And I think Doc Luli has really been an instrumental national scientist in promoting science around the country. And we need more like you, Melissa, to work with. And so when I saw this one, supply chain, you are part of the supply chain for more scientists. So I said, okay, I'm going to listen in. Good job. Thank you.
Definitely interested. So I work in Tarlac a lot. So with the provincial government. So we're very, 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 very supportive of what we're doing. So if there's so much potential there. So definitely I'm open to helping scale it up in Tarlac, at least because that's our home base for now.
That's perfect, because I just visited Tarlac Agricultural University, where they have all the tao, and they all have the varieties of kamote. I visited their scientists. There's a NICER, which is a DOST specialized laboratory there for kamote, fortunately. So I've been wanting to look for applications as well. But definitely your suggestions for what to plant and what to specific varieties that you wanted to have a nursery. The Talang Agricultural University might be able to help you. I'm not sure if she's still there, but do use them. It's a good resource. Yeah.
Very, very good. TAU is very, very good. TSU is also there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely. So, actually, tatlo yung big crops that are laki. Aside from rice and sugar, of course, the others, the upland ones, kamote, ube, and ginger.
Yes.
That's why I took one. Ginger, 10 ube, pag-iisipan ko pa.
Yung
Kasi-
ube, tutulungan kita. We funded a USAID grant in San Fernando, La Union 10 years ago. We gave them 15 million to do both the powder processing and anthocyanin extraction, which is the purple anti-cancer agent that's being mixed with food. We already have that project ready. There's a partner in San Fernando, the MMSU. If you want to take it on,
yeah,
so if you want that part, the research is there, the partners are there in the university. It just needs an entrepreneur because the powder producing industry partner died. Namatay yung tatay. Binandohan namin yung dryer niya in La Union and he died, and the son is figuring out what to do. But I think the marketing of a higher value product is necessary, and I think your outfit might be the better outfit to engage in that particular extraction. I even bought theirs. I bought them a sonophoretic agent. It's a sound extraction to remove the anthocyanin from the skin that's being thrown out of the ube. So, I mean, it's ready. If you want ube, let's talk, and we'll talk to Stride, USAID Stride, the project, on how you can possibly adopt it. I've been helping them all these years, and hopefully we did even a MRI on their equipment.
Partnership.
Yeah. So I think that's definitely good. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, CM. Meron tayo po mga questions dito from Dr. Efraim Metilio of the Mindanao State University in Iligan. Congrats, Melissa, with your selfless effort with IDES and the success of Katimco. I didn't realize Katimco is a sustainable product in helping the IDES. Do you think we can replicate the model to non-indigenous communities like that in Payatas and other similar communities nationwide?
So we're already working with non-ITA communities. So some of our suppliers are non-ITAs, mga cooperatives, mga farmers. But we only buy directly from farmers para, diba? Hindi na kasi kailangan ng middleman kasi we buy everything directly. So yeah, of course, for Payatas, it's a bit of a challenge kasi we need a lot of land. So I worked in Payatas for a long time. Actually with Father Ben. I'm also one of his mentees. And when I interviewed the people living in Payatas, they all come from some province, pero wala silang opportunity from the province. Hence, we see the tip of the iceberg problem, which is urban poor settlements. So that's when I realized that I specifically chose to work with rural development. So they won't have to go to Payatas and live there because they can live better lives in the provinces where there's fresh air, water, clean water, and there's space for the kids to run around. So in terms of priority, I want to prioritize rural development because we have so much rural land and we just need to be more strategic with what we plant and how we do it. Although I'm still very much in touch with the Payatas group. Actually, I have one student in Ateneo now who's working on a project in Payatas. But there, I guess, more on the mga shirt printing, patahian, ganun. But in terms of what we're doing at this scale in Katingko, I really need a lot of land. So where the farmers are. So, yeah. Thank you. So, and when
may question pa rin si Dr. Metilio. So how do you sustain daw your connection and partnership with the community when scientists and communities have often short-term partnerships?
Because we work in a since this is a corporate, like Katingko's been around for 40 years. I've been managing it for the past 15 years. So it's a very sustainable, thank God, it's a very sustainable company. And the same way we've maintained our very close relationships with our suppliers internationally, that's how I want to establish it also with the different communities. So it's very trust-based. So we pay for everything timely, they deliver quality products. So we also deal with them in a very professional way. So of course, mas pasensyosa kami sa kanila. Sa totoo lang, but at the same time, it's geared towards more professionalism. So it's my goal as the entrepreneur or as a corporate head of this company is to really create sustainability in terms of marketing the products, sustainability in terms of our company, our marketing and our sales and the whole supply chain management. Yeah, so the committees are pretty easy to deal with, especially if you do what you say. And you really follow up on your promises, or you don't, like, we don't really promise. We do a lot of R&D, and if it works, it works. You order a lot. So it's pretty simple naman. And I live with different communities when I was younger. Not so much, naputol lang nung pandemic. I bring my child there. She plays with the kids of the aitas, of the farmers. So we just look at them like, I don't really like patronize them so much na parang ako awa naman kayo. No, I look at them like people that you are strong and you have so much resources. Now let's just connect you to the right market and the people who would not take advantage of you, which is what we aim to do, because it's as part of our company values to do so. Yeah.
So, mga questions, do you have a bottling line?
Yes, of course we do. We do things now from end to end, and it's all we don't do private labeling. Everything is company owned in terms of branding, because we don't want to compromise anything. And we are, like what I said, we're not like a big company. We're pretty much still a boutique company, so we just have enough capacity for our own products now, so I can really control where we can get our, if I want to put in an item, a PWD there, we can do that and nobody will question us, because it's part of our goal as a company to really create opportunities, even if it's hard, even if we have to make the banyo bigger to accommodate the wheelchair. We do that because it's part of what we are. It's part of why we're existing, why we're even expanding. Diba? So, to really create more opportunities. But at the same time, yun nga, to also teach professionalism. Para sila rin, even if they don't work with us, they would still be able to work on a very professional way with other companies or other institutions.
It's good, ano? It's also parang a way of parang helping them transform, no? At na-empower. Yes, Paul.
Yes po. Question po from Miss Edna Costun of CEU. For Ma'am Melissa, any message for college students who would like to venture into social enterprise?
Good luck. It's really difficult, but at the same time, it's very fulfilling. So, it was a toss-up. Medyo mahaba siguro yung answer ko. I went through so much. Kasi when around 2007, when I graduated from Ateneo, the term social entrepreneurship was there already, but then there weren't a lot of models applicable. Parang ang hirap. Parang I would always find myself at a crossroads. Am I a social entrepreneur, or am I a social worker, or am I an entrepreneur? Parang ganyan. But 15 years after, we're here now, and it's very much together, no compromises. It's very much molded together. So my two cents is, one, be super clear on your purpose. If you want to do it for yourself, don't na bother being a social entrepreneur. Just be a regular entrepreneur. Para hindi ka na mahilo, like me. Parang paano ko ito gagawin ko. So, if you really have a purpose, meaning, at least for me, it's so easy when there's a community there. There are faces, there are people, there are families, communities that we have to support. It's so easy to imagine but I don't even have to imagine. It's very tangible what this is for. Our employees are our community. So, and then the values that come with the purpose need to be very, very clear. Like, kung magbenta ba sila ng luya sa amin at 1 peso, bibilin ba namin or hindi? So, bibilin namin yung luya but not at 1 peso because that is not equitable. But at the same time, hindi rin namin bibilin ng 100 pesos per kilo because that is not entrepreneurial, at the same, not sustainable. Diba? We can probably buy it now, but then with it sell in the market, it's not going to be competitive. So we have to use our head and our heart. So that's one side. And then the other one is to really hone your entrepreneurial skills. It can't be all heart. You really need to get your hands dirty and learn. I hated math so much, but I love finance so much now because I need it. I live and breathe finance. I have to review all the P&Ls to see is this sustainable, or am I doing it so malulugi yung company? I won't have a job tomorrow. If I don't have a job tomorrow, sorry kayong lahat. Sorry din ako. Hindi ko papakain yung ano ko. Like, none of these things are gonna happen. Diba? I won't be here managing this for the past 15 years if I don't think about it in a strategic way. I really had to study. I wanted to be an anthropologist, to be honest. I was in Mindanao, Ateneo de Davao. I was supposed to take up my master's in anthropology, but at that time, Father Ben said, you know, you already have honed your heart. Now you have to be more entrepreneurial to be able to really help the communities, because most of the communities don't know how to manage their livelihood projects. Even NGOs with all their beautiful heart, they usually make mistakes in managing livelihood projects. So if you look at it,
Ay, naglag na. Naglag na si Melissa. Naglalag na si Ma'am. Yes, naglag. Naglag ka, Melissa. I think dumadaan ka sa isang lugar na mahina ang signal ng Globe.
And evaluating livelihood projects. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now.
Hello?
Pero naglag ka for a while.
Yeah, may puno.
Oh, yeah,
Hello,
I know.
research on livelihood
Naglag ka
project.
for a while.
Yeah, sorry. May puno kasi dun sa taas dito sa may Meralco. So yeah, what's this? So I started with the values, the purpose, and if you have a community, you're dedicating it to better because it's more tangible. And then the second would be the entrepreneurial part. So yun nga, I wanted to be an anthropologist. I was in the mountains doing a lot of research on livelihood projects, and so many of them failed. Unfortunately, I was just an evaluator. So they were asking me what to do. But as a researcher, we all know this. We're not supposed to give recommendations if we don't specialize on those things. So wala akong masagot. Sabi nila, di ba, Inche ka, di ba magaling ka dapat sa negosyo? I'm like, hindi po ako. I didn't want to be part of the company.
Kailangan pag check magaling sa negosyo.
Oh, so they were asking me for advice, but I had no idea because I didn't even take up management because I didn't think I would manage this company. And when I was in college, I wanted to be an anthropologist. I wanted to live in the mountains. And I was living in the mountains. So when I got back, Father Ben said, no, you have to know how to do that. So I went to AIM instead.
So, Miss Melissa, ang question ko, ano?
And I took up masters in entrepreneur started.
Yung question ko, Miss Melissa, katingko, ano pa meaning nun? Is there a special meaning for katingko?
So, ano siya si katingko kasi hybrid siya. So, my dad is from Hong Kong and my mom's Filipina. So, katingko started in Hong Kong. Cantonese word siya ng good field ointment. And then when they brought it here to the Philippines, hindi nila pinalitan yung pangalan, but it's been made in the Philippines 2008.
Okay, so katingko is ano pala siya? Good field ointment, parang gano'n. Tama ba yun?
Yeah. Pure Filipino product na siya ngayon. And now we export na. Before it was imported from Hong Kong and now we export na to Hong Kong. So,
ay, wow, ang galing. Tayo na nagdadala sa Hong Kong ng katingko.
Yeah, and other countries
iba
also.
Na rin yung ano niya no? Iba na rin yung packaging, ano? Kasi dati binibili ko lang yung flat na bilog. So ngayon may parang na siyang bote talaga. Nakakadata na talagang hindi na ako makakatulog kapag wala yun. Parang ano talaga eh. Kailangan maamoy ko yung katingko bago ako matulog.
Thank you po.
Anyway, siguro pwede ka rin naming i-link, ano? Kasi meron akong mga kilalang grupo ng kababaihan sa Tuguegarao City. Sila yung nagtatanim ng mga citronella. And then, binigyan sila ng DOST actually ng isang machine para ma-extract yung oil from citronella. So, sila, tawag dito, meron sila mga ginagawang soap candles, mga insect repellent, para magkaroon na rin tayo ng parang citronella scent na katingko, di ba?
Actually, we have citronella. we have a citronella spray, pero I think it's still under registration.
Ah,
So,
okay.
yeah. So, I think we have to check kung maganda yung oil nila, kung pasado sa lab, then we can buy the oils from them para meron silang customer.
Oo. Ano yan sila? Member sila ng Rural Improvement Club. Yan,
Ah,
sila. Diba? Yeah. So, yan yung mga ano. Actually, the research na kinonduct namin with them, in-interview namin, is through with the DOST, no? So, isa sa mga
mm,
sinusuportahan ng DOST yan. So, ayan. Naku,
mm.
yung question kasi dito is na nasa Q&A is actually a question for the future Earth kaya hindi na namin itinanong sa inyo. Pero, di ba si Ma'am Luli? Sasagutin ba to ni Ma'am Luli? Ma'am Luli, are you there? Ma'am Luli? Ma'am Luli?
Ka.
Okay po. May question po kasi dito. Baka gusto mong tanungin, Ma'am, sa ating Q&A. Ay, sagutin from Q&A box. How do future Earth coordinates with IPs with Commission on Human Rights to access the remote places?
Whenever there's this Wildlife Act na na you need to have a prior informed consent from the IPs. The procedure is very well defined in the Wildlife Act that we follow, that those who want to work with indigenous communities follow if they want to explore do bioprospecting or explore the plants of the indigenous tribes.
So, hindi lang basta-basta napupunta doon. Oh, ito,
Hindi.
magtanim kayo na. Oh, yes. So, yun
Yeah,
din.
nadadala rin yung mga IPs na marami raw noon, sabi nila maraming researchers pumupunta doon. They go and ask questions, nagpapatulong sa kanila para makakuha ng halaman. They do surveys. And then after that, wala na. They don't hear from them anymore. Walang feedback man lang.
Kaya naging na-regulated na talaga yung pag-visit sa kanila, no, ma'am? At meron na talaga mga papeles na dapat. Ayan, I hope that answers the question. Miss Melissa, talagang naku talaga, tingnan mo, nag-overtime na naman tayo. Lagi na lang, kulang ang 1 hour. Kasi ang ganda natin ng mga usapan ngayon, na talagang bukod sa ini-empower mo yung ating mga IPs and other parang vulnerable sectors natin, talaga namang yung education campaign mo para sila matulungan din na mag-transform is really a big thing na talagang nakakatulong ng mabuti. And my future, yan yung sinasabi namin, my future for the vulnerable and the marginalized because of people like you. So we would like, in behalf of the Future Earth Philippines, the National Academy of Science and Technology, the National Research Council of the Philippines, and also the UNICEA in Ateneo de Manila University. We would like to thank you so much na talagang you gave us time kahit na nandiyan ka sa thank you to Globe at talaga namang malakas ang iyong signal. So thank you so much and we hope we can have a part 2 of this session. Babalitaan mo kami kung ano na yung mga updates. Baka yung katingko ay meron ng iba-ibang flavor yan, may lavender na, etc. So babalikan mo kami dito, Miss Felisa, no? Hindi imposible yan. And siguro yung next na ibabalita mo sa amin, baka nakapag-establish na kayo ng partnership with CM Serapika dito, doon sa kanyang center po na SNT Center na kung saan makakatulong doon sa mga young ITAS din natin. So, any last words, Miss Melissa?
Yeah, actually, meron na iba-ibang scents na sa mga kiosk natin. So, all over, I think we have 17 kiosks now. So, pati yung mga livelihood na products, yung mga example, yung Inabel, ginawa naming pouch para yung mga iba-ibang flavor ng oils nandun. So, we also get to work with the mga craft industries. So I'm really, I would like to get connected definitely with the scientists on how we can use the knowledge to be able to create more opportunities. And at the same time, if you have mga connections with mga farmers that need help on what to plant, diba? Kasi ready na yung demand. So, it's really, that's my goal lang talaga, to keep on creating demand. So, yung sipag ng mga tao, hindi nasasayang, tapos, diba, na disappoint. So hopefully we get to do this more. And then so thanks, Doc Luli, for inviting me here. And thank you, Future Earth. And those who ask questions, thank you so much. I learned a lot from you also. So thank you.
Maraming salamat and hope to see you again for your next update. And thank you po sa lahat ng ating nakapagkinig dito sa ating Zoom and sa Facebook at sa YouTube. Mapapanood mo, Miss Melissa, if you want to watch from episode 1 up to the present, nasa YouTube tayo. Yan, hanapin mo lang ang Future Earth SDG Action Hour. So maraming salamat. Thank you everybody. See you again next Friday for another hitik na discussion. Yes, Paul? Thank you and goodbye. Marami pong salamat sa ating lahat. Ayan, nakaraos na tayo.
Oo. Ano yan, bata